Welcome to my podcast, Creative Full Time, where I interview actors and creatives in the entertainment industry and find out how they're doing the damn thing here in Canada. Today's guest hails from a small town in Ontario and did some acting gigs as a child, but then turned to a more reliable job in accounting. And now he's been bit by the acting bug once again, and he's back in the entertainment industry, and we're so glad that he is. We talk about acting classes, we talk about his favorite on-set experiences, and so much more in this interview. I'm so excited today to talk to Spencer MacIntyre. So how did you get started in acting? You were, as a child, you got into acting, right?
Yeah. So
tell me how that happened.
In the 90s, back in it must have been like 95, my mom just saw an ad in the local newspaper looking for actors, and she needed to put all of my energy somewhere. So she's like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's go do it." And then I went to my first audition and I booked it.
Nice.
And then I was on set and I was just like immediately addicted to it. So, and I'm sure there's this picture somewhere of like little 6-year-old me with a mushroom cut. And it was a commercial for the now defunct airline Air Nova.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like all the provinces had their own airline and they all just formed together to become Air Canada back in the day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Little 90s trivia.
I flew as a child.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't on a plane until I was 26 the first time.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice.
But because I come from humble means.
Yeah, you said you're from North Toronto, right? Where?
So I'm from a small town called Musselman's Lake.
Okay.
It's about 800 people.
Nuts. 'Cause I'm from a small town too, but yours sounds further.
It sounds far. It's like 45 minutes.
No way.
It's
What's
like
it
just
close
when
to?
they're just Stouffville.
Stouffville? Okay. I'm just north of Barrie.
Okay, yeah. See, like that's actually getting up there. You're almost at like mid-Ontario.
Yeah.
You're at that point where you're like, how big is this province when you start getting up there?
Yeah, right? You're like, what do you mean I'm only halfway to the top?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Take another 2 days to get there.
Yeah. Oh my God. This province is way too big.
Way too big.
But yeah, so like I did a bunch of acting. I was in a bunch of commercials and some TV shows up until about 13 years old, but getting to and from the city, because it was the 90s and the internet wasn't really a thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember getting faxed the sides, and like we had to buy a fax machine and all that. I'm sure my father found secondhand, like way like in someone's backyard. But it's a story for another time. Anyways, it was becoming too cumbersome to go back and forth to the city, because all the auditions were happening in person in Toronto. And so, yeah, I just ended up that combined with a bunch of other stuff, and not being able to go to art school like I wanted to. It was like, it just led me to quit acting.
Okay.
I did a couple things in
What art school do you have near you?
Unionville.
Unionville? Oh,
Yeah, that was like the closest one.
Yeah,
It's still
fair.
like a half-hour drive.
There's nothing near me.
No.
So I'm like, where the hell?
The high school I went to was larger than my hometown, so yeah.
That's
But
weird.
no, it was a culture shock for sure.
Yeah. How was it moving to Toronto?
Good. I mean, I moved to Toronto when I was 17.
Did you come here for school? Oh no, you quit acting, so you didn't go to post-secondary for acting, right?
No.
Okay.
I was just like done with acting, and then I met some punk kids in high school, and then started getting in with like the music scene, and then I started actually getting in the music industry.
Cool.
And so I did a couple acting things in my 20s, like some friends who were just doing the scores for some projects at CFC. And I ended up just hopping on the shorts, and that was a lot of fun. I was like, I kind of missed this. And all the other actors were just like, why aren't you doing this? And I'm like, I don't know. And then fast forward to 2020, something like that. Yeah, so the pandemic had hit, and I was just like deciding, I was like, do I keep going with the accounting firm I had started, or what do I do? And I was doing taxes for so many actors, and I was just like, I miss this. So I was like, okay, you know what? Why not? I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm like working completely remotely right now.
Right.
And so I put together a monologue, thinking about what can I do with this monologue. I need someone's advice. Actually reached out to Pedro Miguel Arce,
Nice.
who has since left us. But yeah, so I sent it to him. I was like, hey man, can I just get some advice? Gave me some pointers, told me to do a couple different things differently. I was like, cool, thanks. He's like, yeah, sends it back completely edited, and he gave me the email of an agent to email it to.
Wicked.
And he's like, she's expecting your monologue. And then so
Nice.
he was integral in helping me get back to it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Are you still with the same agent, or have
No.
you switched?
I've switched twice.
Twice?
Yeah.
And
since then.
why? Just like felt like time, or wasn't working out?
The first one, I just didn't feel like we were connecting on certain things. I would say something, it would land wrong, or she was just misinterpreting what I was saying. Like I have my EU passport, and she'd be like, oh, that's really great for you and your family. And I was just like, oh, no, I was just saying, like, if stuff happening in Europe. I'm
Right.
Lithuanian, they film a couple small shows in Lithuania, like Stranger Things and Chernobyl. Couple small things that happened there.
Small things.
Yeah.
Nothing big, nothing big.
I don't know. Anyways, so I moved on from there to another agency, and then that agent, there was some
Trying
some
to be
turmoil.
politically correct.
There was some turmoil at the end there, but fiscally and just with some other stuff. But now I'm super happy with my agent.
Nice. Who are you with? Shout out your agent.
I'm with Sean Kaufman at Premier Artists, and he is amazing.
Nice.
We were having a conversation the other day, and I was like, oh, I've only been signed to you since February, and that now sounds like 3-4 months
Nice.
now. And it was just like, oh, we just click so well. And it's so great when I talk to a producer, and they're just like, oh, who are you signed with? And I mentioned, oh, Sean Kaufman at Premier, and they're like, oh. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So he's like, he's great. Yeah, and he's like, he's really got my back. It's really important, I think, for a lot of actors. You got to find like an agent where you just like click with them.
Right.
And it's a relationship. So yeah, it's I feel like I found that right now. So, and he's helping me with some European stuff as well, and yeah, it's really great.
Nice. That's awesome. So when you're switching agents, do you find another agent and then leave the old one, or would you leave and then go find an agent? I think everybody's different.
It depends on your situation. Like I know people who have had their agents just drop them, and they're just like, oh my god. And then it depends on on most agency contracts, you have like a 2-month period where you have to transition out. Yeah. Yeah, but at like the end, so it's just like, I don't know. For me, I just made sure I had someone that I was going to go with, and luckily I didn't have to do that 2-month purgatory of like, oh my god, I'm with someone I just left. It's like trying to move out from like, you're like living with a partner, and then you're like, okay, well, that's the end of that. Anyways, I can't move for 2 months because I don't have an apartment lined up, and then so.
I'll be sleeping on the couch.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think for everyone, it's like a different situation. I've heard so many stories. I'm sure you have as well.
For sure.
Just being around the industry.
Yeah, totally. So your union.
Yes.
Yes. How did the union happen for you?
So I got a McDonald's commercial.
Nice.
Which that was really cool because, as you know, like getting in the union's really tough, and you have to have a director or producer or someone that like really fights for you to be on it, because it's, the whole team has to prove that they auditioned all these union actors and you were better or more suited for the role. You were more suited for the role than these
People
other
already
people.
in the union, yeah.
Yeah, which is weird because like when you get the permit, you see the names and sometimes it's your friends and you're like, oh.
Sorry.
Yeah. This one was great. The director actually told me, he's like, yeah, I had auditioned you before or seen the self-tape and I really wanted you for this other commercial, but we didn't book you. And then when your name came up again, I was like, nope, got to book him. He's like
Nice.
had told me to save like my headshot in a separate folder and stuff. And he wasn't from Canada. It was like, it's a big compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I happen to also be part of the UK union, which allowed me, because there's a reciprocal agreement, allowed me to go full union with just that one credit, which has
wicked.
opened up some great doors, but also, you know, it's that this is my first year being union, so it's that immediate drop off that I'm trying to get used to.
Okay.
Like in just the number of auditions.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say I'm not union, so I haven't had that yet. But yeah, I've heard that happens as the auditions slow down, and once you start in the union. So it is true, they say.
Yeah, I mean, last year I think by this time I had done I track everything, so it's still my business accounting brain.
I was gonna say, the accounting really comes through.
Yeah. It's like the one thing I can control. So, and it just, keeps me in a routine, because this industry is just like every now and then they're like, oh, here's the next 2 days of your life. And you're like, oh, great.
Right?
Yeah. So like last year, like for the entire year total, I'd done 397 auditions.
Wow.
And I think this year so far I've done like 60, which is still great.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
As a union person, like that's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
The quality is like I'm enjoying what I'm going out for way more than what I was. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of commercials. There's only so many times you can, do the bite and smile. But like,
yeah.
I will definitely do that if anyone out there wants me to be in a commercial right now.
They're not ideal, but I will do them for money. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, it's not creatively fulfilling, but
Exactly. But my bills will be paid.
Yeah, yes, that is fulfilling in other ways. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I love being on commercial sets.
Yeah,
They're a lot of fun.
Also being on set is just fun, no matter what you're doing.
Just being out there and like, it's so much fun. Yeah, I just love, it's like that feeling of just being at home when you're on set, you're like, oh, I don't want to be anywhere else.
Yeah.
This is all I want.
Right?
Yeah. And for me, I was lucky enough that when I was a kid, I got to be in front of the camera, but I didn't get maintain that. So I don't know. So there's there's hints of nostalgia for me anyway.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, this is, I don't know. It just feels, I'm so used to it. And I don't know if it's like that, but other actors have described it as a feeling of home.
Yeah.
You just know you're supposed to be there.
Yeah, 100%.
So.
Do you regret not continuing as a child and being a child star?
I don't know if I would have been a child star. You know what? There was one movie I was so close to getting, and I was down to me and 3 kids from what I remember. I could be totally wrong. Just remember putting positive things in my brain. It was this movie with Bruce Willis starring. It was called The Kid.
Okay.
Yeah. It was down to me, the guy who got it, Spencer Breslin. Another Spencer. Yeah. And then someone else, I don't know. But yeah. But as far as I know I would have been a working actor by now, but I definitely feel like I needed that break. I am a lot more business savvy. I am a lot more, I know a lot. I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't be, owning your own business is very humbling, and doing your own thing. And I definitely have way more drive now. And I got that from running my accounting firm, and now I'm just there's no one's going to work as hard as me. So, and I'm out there at everything I can possibly get my hands on. And you know what? It's maybe I would have been a struggling actor. And when I got to sell my accounting firm, that allowed me I had never had a safety net my entire life, but it gave me this nice safety net where I could just pursue it for an entire year.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, a little bit more than that, but yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and then, I don't know. It was just, it does feel like, okay, if I hadn't quit, I would be a lot further along, but I don't know. Can't change it. I'm happy where I am.
Fair.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I'm happy with everything that's going on right now. So.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wicked. How has your accounting spilled into acting or helped in the industry?
Well, I know a lot of people because I was doing their taxes.
That's fair. Great connections.
Yeah. I also just know when you know, there is a business aspect to, I mean, it's a business. So I am definitely leagues ahead in that where I'm like, okay, I already know how to think about what that paycheck's going to do. So I don't have to think about that at all. I can just focus on the character and focus on the art and Excel, doing bookkeeping, all of that comes just second nature to me already because I own an accounting firm from 2016 to 2021. So yeah, there's that, and then there's like the networking that has been just incredible.
Do you like networking?
I thrive on it.
Really?
Yeah. You hate it? Yeah. I mean, it depends. I'm a pretty, I go to bed pretty early and wake up pretty early for like someone in the arts. But
That's fair.
So sometimes you're just out at those like TIFF 4 a.m. parties and you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to survive this next day.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find it, I just hate the breaking the build up to networking and then breaking the ice. Once you're doing it, it's fine. I find just the build up of like the social anxiety is
oh really
the worst part. Yeah.
So I think this is the best part about being an actor is like I think it was Les Chantry, this coach in Australia, and I was taking one of his classes during the pandemic. He mentioned like actors kind of possess this ability to not feel embarrassed. You know? Yeah. So I just don't care. And I'm like, hey, I'm lucky enough now that I know a lot of people, so I can just, you got to get the introduction, which is nice. Yeah, it's different for everything. I mean, I was at this one party at TIFF this year, and my friend saw someone that she knew. She was like, oh my God, and she did this too. And I saw this person's husband, and I was just like, oh my God. I just like trying to imitate her, and he was not having it. He was just like looking at me like, what? And I was like, oh, sorry, man. It was just, what brings you here?
Like, just doing a bit.
Yeah. And then we got to talking, and at the end, he was like, yeah, just come to this party. And he gave me like a party invitation. I was like, okay. So I went with my buddy. I was like, yeah, I don't know if I was just reading this guy wrong. He's like, probably just didn't want to be at that party. I was like, all right, yeah. And then I see the guy at his party, and he's like, hey, you made it. And I was like, okay.
He just didn't want to be at that party.
Yeah.
Just emotionally drained for that day.
Right, yeah. Great dude, though. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. I love the networking, and I mean, TIFF especially has worked out. I mean, I just got an email on my way here that was from a producer at TIFF, and like I had auditioned for something that she was doing in France, and she's like, hey, your audition was great. It was like one of the best we saw. We're going with somebody older, but I'm doing something in Toronto in September, and I'm considering you for it. And I was just like, okay, yeah, cool.
Nice.
Great. Nice to hear from you. You know, not, oh my God. Yeah.
So do you have a favorite on-set experience that you've had so far?
Okay. I mean, there's a lot of like fun stuff, like, but there's a lot of ego boosting stuff where you're like, oh, that's definitely fun. Like when somebody comes up and you're just like, you are so funny. Like, I'm just like, oh, yeah, great.
I know.
Yeah. And you're just like, oh, that's great. Honestly, when I was filming, I'm in this mini series called Whiskey on the Rocks that's coming out in December. I was told it was coming out in December in Sweden, and then it'll be released on Disney Plus worldwide.
Nice.
After that.
Sometime after that.
Yeah. I got to work with this incredible actor, Mark Noble, seasoned. Like, he's been working for like 30 years or something like that. Just incredible. And it's like just so nice with that back and forth. And I don't know. It just like, it was a very great experience for me. And we were filming in Lithuania. I'm Lithuanian.
Yeah.
And it was just so nice being like in the country of my heritage, and like, I'm a citizen there too. And just on set doing this show with an incredible actor and an incredible director, Bjorn Stein. Yeah. Who also fluffed my ego a little bit there too. Yeah. He like walked up after the first take and he was just like, Spencer, great job. Great. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. You only wrote and directed The Bridge, you know?
Right.
It's an incredible series. But Yeah, I would say that recently, for sure, that.
Nice.
I don't know, there's been so many. When I was a kid and when I was on a YTV commercial,
So fun.
that like hit all the spots for me. Because that was like the best. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I just love being on set. It's so hard. I love the connections you make.
Yeah.
And just working, like I said, when you're working with like an incredible actor too, and you like really feel it, or like just when you're vibing with someone.
Yeah.
You know?
It just like clicks and you're both like in sync.
Just in the zone. Yeah.
Those are the best.
Oh yeah, you're just
that's like
the lines are like taking over, and you just Brie Larson has a really great description of it, where she's just like, it feels like you're underwater. And I was just like, oh yeah, you just like have this out of body experience.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that is a good way to underwater.
Yeah.
So just everything just kind of disappears.
Totally, and you're just like in it,
in the zone.
in it. Yeah. And then like even just the connections you make there. Like back to Mark, when I was leaving that set, we just kind of looked at each other like, I'll see you soon. And like we just had this, we were like, hey, film like 2 scenes together.
Nice.
And then I was just like, oh, okay, I guess we'll catch up eventually. Then we did meet up in London.
No way.
London, England, and the good London.
The good London. Not
kidding.
London, Ontario, sorry.
London, it has its moments. Yeah. Depends on how old you are. Yeah, so we met up in London, and we were just like talking in this cafe for 3 hours, and I hadn't realized it was 3 hours, and I was just like, oh, I gotta go, but I feel like we're like halfway done our conversation. Yeah, like just the relationships you make on set, and like,
yeah,
I find like I click best with film people. You know, we all just kind of get it. All the same kind of weird. There's like a shorthand almost that we all know.
Right.
So yeah, and just it's like an immediate comfort when someone's like, oh, I'm an actor. I'm like, oh, thank God, we can just be weird together.
Yeah. That's so fair. Yeah. What do you find, or what is something that you wish like non-creatives knew about being an actor?
I don't know. It's not all glitz and glam. I mean, that's like the typical answer, right?
True,
but yeah, I don't know. It's just there's a weirdness to it that you kind of have to have and be to be a creative, and it just comes off as jarring to non-creatives, I think. They're like, oh yeah, you're okay. And you're like, no, I'm just me. I'm a big personality, you know?
Yeah.
And then and I mean, we're actors. We're like absorbed somebody else's personality. Okay, we're this person today. Some of us, I mean, yeah, sometimes you find that character, I'm like, no, this is me. I can do this.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, we're not acting today.
Yeah, this is just reading lines. This is great. Yeah. I don't know. It's like, it's a lot more work than I think people give it credit for. Like, an old roommate was just like, they just keep going. You know, like as soon as you get something, you're in like a different zone.
Yeah.
And then she would just like watch my self-tape and be like, it's like I'm watching you, but not you. And it's kind of weird. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's a lot harder than like people that aren't creative give us credit. Because it's like, you're just watching it. It just looks like people talking, which is great.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're really doing it well.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, how hard can that be? And I'm like, oh, go for it. Yeah.
You should watch some self-tapes
Yo.
of old.
Have you ever watched your old self-tapes?
Yeah,
like,
it's horrible.
No, I can't.
Because I'm just like, oh, it's so sad that I thought that was really good.
Yeah, you're like, oh, yeah. Nope.
Yeah, I'm like, what false confidence you had.
Right. But you know what? It's like, that was the best you could do at that time.
Yeah, and I find comfort that like, that's not where you remain. You know what I mean?
It's
like
constant growth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Where it's like, okay, it's not like if you sucked last year, you're going to remain at that shitty level forever. If you keep on practicing and getting better and going to classes and yada, yada, yada,
Speak for yourself. I'm still terrible.
Hey, I'm not Oscar worthy or else I wouldn't be here. But you know what I mean? Like you look back at old tapes and you're like, I've grown since then. Thank God.
Yeah. Oh my God. Sometimes I'm like, where are my eyes going? Like, what was I thinking I was doing there? Yeah.
Right? Yeah. All the moments that I'm like, forced.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's what acting is. Like, I'm not, now I'm like, and now I have my process down too,
nice.
which is, I'm like, okay, when I get sides, this is what I'm going to do. And then, just like try and that's the other thing with like going back to your question about how has acting helped me or accounting helped me. Like I have a routine, and then as soon as something acting comes up, I can break that routine easily and move into something else.
Nice.
Because like everything else is so structured. I'm like, okay, cool. And now I have this 9-page script. I gotta, or sides that I gotta that's my next couple days, figuring out all the changes and like everything and the moods, and still probably doubting myself after I do it,
Always.
Yeah, and then sending it and be like, oh, I forgot, I should have done it this way. Like, and I was like, yeah. Should have worn the blue shirt, something like that.
Should have worn the blue shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always little.
It's just the little ones, or like I could have added a little of that.
Yeah. Or the next, like that night or the next morning, you think of something that would have been a great idea for it. And you're like, well, it's gone. It's gone. It's done.
There's time. No, whatever.
They call me back.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's like a certain amount. Like you just gotta accept, like sending things out into the ether and then just never hearing back.
Yeah, my sister she's not in the entertainment industry, and she's like, "What do you mean you just don't hear back?"
Oh yes, that is something that non-creatives don't get, or like non-actors. I'm like, yeah, sometimes you just don't. So what happens if you don't get it?
Send it out into the void and
nothing,
and then it airs with someone else's face on it.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay, I wasn't what they were looking for. Yeah.
They're like, what do you mean? My mom's like, well, can't you just call them and ask why? No, you can't. You can't call them and ask why.
They do that in Europe sometimes. They'll actually tell you.
Yeah,
but
that's
like
nice.
now I've realized that I don't like that. Yeah.
Don't tell me why.
Yeah. That happened to me in a callback here. Someone was just like, like, we're moving on, Spencer. You didn't do anything wrong. And I'm like, what? No, don't just tell me like I'm done for the day. Like, don't.
That's hilarious.
Stop it right there. I do not need any more to think about.
I would like to know that I didn't do anything wrong. That's why when I get a call back, I'm like, woohoo, still got it.
Right.
Like I'm like, did the damn thing. Even then, at that point, if I don't book it, I'm like, okay, it wasn't me.
Yeah. I just went out for this thing that was filming in Latvia, which is different than Lithuania, and let's clarify. And had like this directorial debut of this really incredible actress, and produced by one of my favorite filmmakers. And they were like, "Yeah, we'll keep me posted. Looks great." I was like, "No, don't keep me posted. Just no. I don't need to be thinking about that for the next 6 weeks.
Right?
Like,
just tell me now.
Yeah. Tell me.
You already know. I feel like you already know.
Yeah. And then I'm like, I just need to send it out there and like not think about it. But when you tell me I'm going to keep you posted,
yeah.
And I was like,
it's so hard to not think about it, especially when it's a role that you really, really want.
Yeah.
It's so difficult to not think about it.
I don't hang on to a lot of roles, but every now and then there's like a couple. So that one with like this just amazing filmmaker. And a couple of years ago, I went out for this Netflix miniseries, and they're like, "Are you available for 20 weeks to come to Rome and Sicily?" And I was like,
"Am I?"
Let me check my calendar. I didn't get that, but yeah, it was like, yeah, that one I held on to for a little bit. But yeah, it's like so hard to fight it, And I mean, there's sometimes you just kind of got to go through it. You're like, it's like that kid song, can't go over it, can't go around it, can't go under it, have to go through it. Yeah. And then, so you just kind of got to sit and be like, well, this sucks. But yeah, which was kind of the great part about having so many auditions. Like if you're auditioning a lot, you just don't think about it.
That's true. And you have to be on to the next one.
Yeah.
You got work to do.
Exactly. So for me, like I try to do one thing every day that kind of makes me feel like an actor. Like it just reminds me that I am an actor, like whether that's writing my own scripts or editing something if I don't have a tape, or I don't know, just talking to other actors and reading for them,
Nice.
Going on podcasts and
going on podcasts that kick ass.
Yes, they do. Yeah. Kick ass podcast.
Yeah.
You should rename it.
New name. It's official now. It's official.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so great that you reached out to be on the podcast.
Thank you.
Please do that, people. Reach out. Come on.
Be a creative full time.
Yeah, be creative full time. And then I saw like all the media that you've done before. Like you do all of them. You do all of the things.
I love just talking about acting.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
That's awesome.
troublesome for when I try to be in like a relationship with someone who is not a creative. But that's going back to that other question. But they're like, so do you just think about this all the time? I'm like, yeah. I don't know. I have that thing that I just can't shut it off, and so which made me successful at accounting. And
I was even something tragic happened, and I was like, it was a very serious setting, and I was just there in the scenario being like, this would be a really good scene. I was like, man, I should write this down. This would be a really good short film. And it's so bad. It's like, be in the moment and talk to people. But in my head, I'm just like, yeah, write this down for a short film. This would be epic.
I'm 100% there, except I'm a massive fan of absurdist comedies.
Oh, yeah?
So I'm like, wouldn't it be so funny if just this happened? And then like right now, like out of nowhere, and then I get the giggles. So I just like, nope, can't. Please, everybody.
Hold it back.
Yeah.
Keep it in.
This is
not in the middle of church or wherever you are. Not at the funeral.
yeah. Oh my God.
Rein it in.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
What do you find is the hardest part about being in the entertainment industry?
The most difficult part about being in the entertainment industry.
Because you left a pretty reliable,
yeah. Okay. The money.
steady job.
This industry does not pay until it pays.
Yeah.
So I left a very lucrative career because I wanted to do art, like sure my grandmother's rolling in her grave, just, yeah.
Why?
She's just like, survived a concentration camp for this? And then
So you could do art?
Yeah. No. Actually, the way I do look at it, she went through all that, it's like, and she didn't go through all that so I could be miserable.
Be miserable, yeah,
Honestly,
exactly. It's the freedom to do what you want.
Yeah, and as much as like the financial instability and the like not knowing, like the unpredictability, and just like the lack of control you have, because like I was running a business where I had 100% control. Shelling out a product that everybody needed, and because everybody needs to do their taxes, and then I switched to doing, just art, and I was like, no, I don't want to be miserable making, a lot of money, and like even some of my friends, they were just like, Jude, you are a different person, like you are way happier. Like they're like, I was getting a little concerned. Like,
no
it was
way.
like, yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, as much as it's difficult, that is like the difficulty is like the not having control and like all the things that were great about having my own business, being an accounting firm, ultimately were making me miserable. So to kind of turn your question on its head, it's like that, it was ultimately a great decision as much as it sucks right now, and it just feels like it's going to get better,
Yeah,
So,
can't describe it, or like don't know why, but you just know that it'll be.
I'm working with some incredible people. With Sean, like even my personal trainer is just like, I'm his like least famous client by. It's dumb. When he responds to my text, he's like, "Oh, sorry, man, just with a client." I'm like, "No, it's fine. Yeah, it's great. Do your thing."
Which client? I'll be right there.
Yeah. Oh my God, imagine I was that person. Yeah. Who? Name drop. Come on.
Name drop. Tell me now. That's hilarious. So doing taxes and running your own business, did you like math and get into it that way? Or you were just like, I'm going to pick because when we joke about people picking a normal job instead of the arts, it's always accountants that we pick. We're always like, I don't want to be like an accountant.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's the least favorite thing anybody wants to do. There's like such a stereotype about it too.
Yeah.
No, I mean like it kind of... It found me. I don't know. It's like that's the way to say it. I was looking for any job in the music industry. I approached someone I knew who was running an accounting firm to help me with a contract, and then I was like, "Hey, do you guys need any interns here?" And it's like, "Yeah." Worked there for like a month. And he offered me a job ahead of all the other interns that were working there. He's like, "You just get this.
Nice.
Yeah, for me, it's more of a pattern recognition thing. And I'm like, oh, this isn't adding up. Like, I'm terrible at math, but like I can see when things don't add up.
Things you want your accountant to say. I'm terrible at math.
Yeah, well, yeah. I got better when I was doing it full time for 10 years.
Yeah,
you know?
clearly you're not bad.
No, I was doing taxes for some pretty great musical acts and stuff like that. And then, yeah, I don't know. I left that firm and I wasn't happy there. And I was approached by like a bunch of people who were like, hey, I trust you more than I trust your old boss. Can you still do my taxes? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then it just I just needed the extra cash and wasn't breaking any rules because I didn't approach them. So, and then, yeah, just snowballed into about 700 clients before I sold it. And
nice.
Yeah, I think people really liked that I got it and I could explain taxes in a way that they understood and really help them out and guide them. Like I was really big on just helping people get like a good understanding of what they were in for and like when they should transition to incorporating and stuff like that. So
wicked.
Yeah.
Wicked. So what was the turning point for you that you decided, okay, I got to get back into acting? Was there an event? Was it the pandemic?
The pandemic had a lot to do with it, where I was just like, oh man, I am miserable. And like, it was just, yeah, and it's like, there was a bunch of, I was doing taxes for a bunch of actors and they just like, hey, I booked this. And I would see all the jobs that year. I was like, oh my God, like I miss just getting that call and be like, hey, you booked it, you know? I miss being on set. And it's like, yeah, let's give it a shot. And then after a year of doing it with the taxes, it was like, look, I had a conversation with myself and I was like, when I started my accounting firm, I quit the job I was working at and I was like, I'm just gonna go full on into this, see what I can make of it. And, you know, it worked. So I was like, well, what about something I'm more passionate about acting than taxes. Surprise. Yeah. So I was like, what would happen if I did that with something I'm like super passionate about? And I sold my accounting firm, you know, and it just, yeah, it gave me a fire under my ass. But just was like, okay, cool. This is it now. This is my life. And now even when I run into people from those days, they're like, dude, that's a great move. Like it was a scary, scary decision. Yeah. And even now I'm just like, oh my God, what am I doing some days? And I'm just like, but then I'll get like an audition for like a show I absolutely love. Or like I was saying with that filmmaker that is just, I grew up watching and just like, oh, okay, cool. Maybe I can make this work. And then every now and then I just got to call a friend and they're just like, you'd be dumb to quit now. Don't quit now, you know? Or like the amount of times you see like Instagram reels pop up that are just like all these actors are like, I just didn't quit.
Yeah.
You know, I just kept going.
Yeah.
So of course, wish I kind of had that when I was younger, but like that would have kept me going. But like I said, I'm really happy where things are, and I like the ability to accept that I'm like, this is what's happening right now. All those decisions, that's already happened. So we're just gonna keep going and trek forward.
Nice.
Yeah.
We were talking about acting classes before we were rolling.
Yeah.
What acting classes have you taken in Toronto?
In Toronto, let's see. Oh my God. LB took The Lighthouse with Angela Shara, and that was like the one I did the most. Nice. For sure. I really love that class.
What did you like about that class?
I really like that I could just bring auditions in. Yeah, it was really flexible with that, and like, you know, just keeping communication. She has such a great positive attitude, and like she's really accepting. It's just, I don't know, it was just such a good vibe the entire time you're there. You know,
like being on set.
Yeah, and like Angela has so much experience herself, you know, and she is a working actor. So that's the best part about getting taught by a working actor, you know? Yeah. Yeah, and she's great. I haven't been to one of her classes in a while. And what else? Have I taken other classes? I'm sure I've taken other classes. Those are just the two that are popping into my head right now.
Nice.
I've definitely taken more classes. I did a lot of online classes during the pandemic too.
That was the nice thing about the pandemic is that you could do online courses from like anywhere.
I did some with LA coaches. I did one with out of New York with Anthony Grasso, another working actor. He's on like every iteration of every police procedural. Brilliant actor. Yeah. He's so great and like a great dude too. And then then Les Chantry out in Australia, and Nancy. Oh, her last name is escaping me right now, but she's a casting director in Prague.
Okay.
So I got to do that. Yeah. So.
Wicked.
Yeah, I feel like I've been all over the map now.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. What is the first thing that comes to mind when I say like your biggest takeaway from a class, any class?
I'm gonna go with community.
Yeah?
Yeah, I met some incredible people. Like in that Australia class, I met my friend Silvana, who lives in Germany, and in Berlin, and she's like a brilliant actor. And in Angela's class, I've met so many great people. Sam Asante. Just like you get to meet other actors, really feel out what it's like with different types of readers. You realize what you like in a reader, what you don't like in a reader, especially because everything's self-taped now. And you get to, there's all that, and then you get to take different things from different teachers and just make it your own and find your own path. But the community, for sure. Like, I mean, now you have a ton of readers for all the self-tapes you get to do, and it's nice just to be around other actors who, like I said before, they're your type of weird.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Everyone clicks. So it's like, well, not everyone, but you definitely get a real sense of community and, get to know people around Toronto and just, I don't know. It's a fun experience, and getting in front of the camera, it's always, it's always a pleasant experience.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Do you have a dream role for yourself? Or like a dream genre if role is too specific?
Action comedy for sure.
Nice.
Like the buddy cop stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
Nice.
Yeah. I've been doing exploring a lot of voice stuff lately.
Okay.
Yeah. So
like doing voiceover work?
Yeah.
Wicked.
It's so much fun. Yeah. I got to just did like my animation demo, and like, oh my God, it was so much fun doing it.
Nice.
Yeah, I love how big you can get with animation.
Do you want to do like cartoons or
I was
gonna say that's the best part.
SpongeBob, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to do action comedy. I just love the ridiculousness of some things. I wrote my own absurdist comedy with my friend Katie Scharf.
Nice.
And we put that on. We had Corrine Mallon direct it, and we just did a little short. So hoping to get that out soon.
Wicked.
I have no idea where that's at right now, but like, we both acted in it. I love doing absurdist comedies. Like my favorites are like Stella, which is like a sketch comedy thing, or Whitest Kids You Know. My ultimate goal is to, let me backtrack a little bit here. When I was growing up, I didn't see any positive portrayals of men with red hair. So like it was always like the butt of the joke, the redhead stepchild, it was like the villain, the bully, always that. And so like the first time I really saw it was like, this is gonna sound ridiculous, it was Fry from Futurama. You know?
Yeah.
He's a dope, but he saves the world, he gets the girl. And what I'd love to do is just, really just do like a positive portrayal, Like now you got people like Andrew Santino and Donald Gleason, Andrew Santino, like he's the jokester, but it's like, I just want to do like the hero roles,
Nice.
I would love to just give like a positive portrayal of men with red hair, and like I'm sure there are other examples. I'm just haven't clued into them, when I was growing up, I just wasn't exposed to them. But that's like my ultimate goal. I would love to just buddy cop thing, you know, saves the day,
Nice.
something like that.
What's your
Action.
favorite? Do you have a favorite movie?
Oh, Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Hands down. Yeah. Not even a thought in there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love dinosaurs growing up. Yeah.
Fair.
Chris Pratt is living my dream, you know?
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, he's like in so much, and I'm like, I want him to do that. Yeah.
It's all right. They'll remake it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be a TV series, maybe. You know, they always just branch off into different things.
No, I'd love to do. Jurassic Park is definitely one of my faves.
Nice.
I love Futurama's great. There's a movie with Will Arnett and Will Forte called The Brothers Solomon.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's so ridiculous. I just laugh at it every single time. It's so funny.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I haven't seen it, so I'll have to add it to my watch list.
Yeah.
But it's awesome.
Yeah.
Wicked. And you mentioned that you do writing as well.
Yeah.
Like, is that just to create your own stuff?
A lot of it's just to get the creative juices flowing, and it definitely helps me understand like the whole process a little bit better. Like, just like when I started writing, I was like, oh, you got to do all these things. Now I met a few other writers like Jordan Gray, who's like, and like he kind of showed me through like a bunch of the different processes, and I don't know, it helps me understand where script analysis a lot better. And I'm like, oh, okay, so now I see why this has to happen, and then makes that all better. I did make one thing into a short film, but I don't think I want to go through that process again. Not right now. I do have a mini series that I want to make.
Okay.
But
Nice.
it's about my grandmother's journey to Canada from when she was born in Lithuania.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like, she was 11 when she left Lithuania. Then she was in, it was like during World War II, and then she got to England, and then eventually to Canada.
Nuts.
I won't spoil it. It's
Stay tuned.
Yeah. I have to really suss out everything, and luckily going through the process to get my EU passport from Lithuania, I learned her entire journey because I had to trace it all through paperwork.
Yeah, because you have to prove.
To prove the lineage, and I had to find every single stop she made every time she had to every time her name got changed on paper because it was like too hard for people to spell or whatever.
Nuts.
You know. So like I learned her entire journey, and I was just like, wow, this is incredible. I connected with my family back in Lithuania, and like her sister, and it was just,
That's amazing.
So I want to really put that into like a 4-part miniseries, I think.
Wicked.
But, just got to find the right writer to write that with. I want to get like a woman to write it with, because I feel like I can't quite get everything that I would need to get out, like from the perspective wise.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, oh yeah, I don't know, just like.
Yeah, but there would just be some things that maybe you wouldn't
clue into.
Think about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And any writing, it would be nice to just bounce.
Oh my God.
Stuff off of people.
Yeah, I've wrote my own stuff. I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do here. And then I wrote that thing with Katie, and I was just like, oh, this is so much easier writing with somebody else.
Nice.
Yeah, and she loves the absurdist comedy just as much as I do.
Wicked.
So we both love the same shows. Like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yes.
So we were just like, okay. We were just on the same wavelength the entire time.
Nice.
And she'd be like, oh, what about this? I'm like, that's way better than my idea. And it was just really great collaboration.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Love that. That's awesome.
Another thing I love about those acting classes, collaboration. This is a collaborative art form. And you really get to embrace that side of things.
Yeah, I've learned that. Don't try to do it on your own. It's so dumb. It's so stupid. What a waste of time.
Yeah.
There's the all boats rise with the tide, or there's some quote. I'm butchering it.
Yes.
I can't think of what it is.
Agreed.
But you know what I mean. Tide comes in, boats go up. We're the boats.
Who's going to carry the boats? Sorry.
But so it's just, but it's easier to collaborate. It's so much better.
So much better. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get to, as you're exploring different things in the city, like I've worked with people, I was like, oh, I'm never working with that person again. Like just,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're like, cool, great, experiment done.
Experiment terminated.
Yeah. I'm like, great, I'm going to go with these people.
Yeah, for sure.
You just meet so many different people, and you got to like suss out where they are. And then there's a lot of people who will energize you, or you energize them, which is great. You know, you meet someone and they're like, oh yeah, you make me want to work. It's like when you go see a movie, you're like, oh my God, that was so good. I need to go home and create. Yeah. So like every now and I wouldn't say it's been easy, but I have definitely been finding those people, and I am more comfortable now. And even as I expand outward and I meet people in different countries, and I've been working a lot with a lot of Europeans, and I have friends in LA who are doing incredible stuff, and New York. So it's just like and the internet just like brought it all together. You can keep in touch and like just find people who are on your level. Yeah. So it hasn't been easy, to answer your question. It hasn't been easy, but you know, I'm finding it.
But he's good at networking.
Yeah.
And he loves it.
Love it. Yeah.
What question are you trying to answer most in your life right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right this very second. Why am I here? Why am I on this podcast?
Why are you asking me this question? That's what I'm trying to answer. What am I trying to answer right now? What's next?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Don't you hate when other people ask that question? So what's next for you? You're like, shut up, I'm auditioning.
You know what? Tom Hanks had such a good thing about that, where he's like, when you start, you're like, being considered for this, you know, I'm working on this. And you're like, okay. Yep.
I just want to tell people, like, I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I auditioned, but I'm not allowed to say what it's for.
There's a few things that are out there, you know.
I love it. Wait, what question? So what do you think is next? I'll follow up with this. What do you think, or what would you like to be next?
Fantastic Four is filming.
Yay!
In the UK.
Okay.
I have 2.5 passports. So
nice.
Yeah, one of them, that half being the UK. So
fair.
Need a redhead somewhere in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need a redheaded hero.
Yeah.
Send him out. We've got him. He's here.
I'll sing that Enrique Iglesias song that's about Anna Kournikova and not about being a hero at all.
That's hilarious. What would your younger self not believe about your life today?
Oh man. I do a lot of inner child work in therapy, so you're like striking
the chord.
Woo! That I'm still doing the damn thing.
Yay!
Yeah, to quote you. Yeah.
Doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
We love it.
Like, oh wow, you're doing TV shows. Yeah.
Wicked.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Meeting cool people. Yeah.
Doing the damn thing. I love it. 'Cause that's where your inner child is happiest on set. What title would you give this chapter in your life?
Genesis. The beginning.
Ooh, Genesis. I like
Not
it.
like Terminator Genesis. A little bit better than that.
Fair.
Actually, I think I enjoyed that movie. I can't remember. But yeah.
They all blend into one for me.
Yeah, they're great. I love sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
That's another genre I love to be in. Sci-fi.
Yeah, sci-fi?
Yeah.
I would love some prosthetics, like whether it was like Star Trek or like anything where you have to make me a different kind of creature or older, younger, whatever.
Oh,
just like I want to
fun.
sit in a makeup chair for 6 hours.
That's good. I am like, you can't really see it now, but I'm pretty covered in tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, well, I mean, like my legs are pretty covered.
Yeah.
I would just like, not looking forward to that one day. I ever have to wear. I'm like, it's in my contract. I have to wear pants the entire time. Yeah.
That's awesome. Pants are in my contract, so sorry.
But yeah, what was it?
No shorts.
What was the question again?
This chapter, what would you call this chapter of your life?
Genesis. Yeah. No, it's just the beginning
of like the next
phase. Yeah.
The next thing.
We're like, I don't feel like I'm. That guy was angry.
Someone's mad.
He knew where he was going, though. That was the positive thing. No, it's just because every time I'm just like, no. Like, I'm just getting started. This is not, this is, you know, I don't know that I'll ever reach that point where I'm like, nope, this is it. But I definitely.
There's always more.
It always feels like the beginning.
There's always something else you want to do.
Yeah.
Something else you want to try.
And we're here 4 years into acting and 3 years. Something like that. Anyway.
Ish.
Yeah, it's just the beginning.
Nice.
Yeah, this is the prologue.
Wicked.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, this is the credit, or not the credits. This is the word scrolling at the beginning of Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's where
there once was a man.
Yeah. This is yeah. This is episode 4. We'll go back to episode 1 eventually. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Wicked. I love that.
Yeah, keep an eye out for Whiskey on the Rocks.
Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney Plus. Yeah, it's in English, Russian, and Swedish.
Nice.
It's a political satire. It's gonna be. When I was doing ADR for it, I burst out laughing because it was just cut so well, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah,
wicked,
yeah. It's gonna be a really interesting show. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right. Link in bio. It'll be out sometime next year.
Spicy link in my bio. Yeah.
That's right. Well, thank you so much for being a guest on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it was a great conversation. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So thanks for reaching out.
Yeah, of course.
And if you'd like to be a guest of my podcast or want to see somebody on the podcast, reach out, let me know, send me a DM. We'll get them on the show and do an interview. I love networking this way. And where I have full control.
You can also request me again.
Yeah, or we can have him again. After the show releases, we'll have you back. We can talk all about it.
I would love to do like a follow-up, and this is where things are now.
Absolutely.
Whiskey on the Rocks was a huge failure, and I'm now living on the street.
But now I'm in Fantastic Four, so no big deal. I love it. Yeah, we'll see where you are
next time.
Yeah. Exciting.
Great.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Do the damn thing.
Do the damn thing. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe. Please, for the love of God, subscribe and comment your favorite takeaway from this interview. And if you'd like to donate to keep this podcast going, head to my website, AlisonMullings.com, and see you in the next interview.